we observe offenses against body. And now chapter 17, that is of the offenses against property. Now we are going to observe one by one offenses against property. First subheading of this chapter is of theft. So what I mean by theft? Definition, then other provisions attached to this definition necessary to understand along with this definition. So also punishment. Property in dwelling house, theft of property in dwelling house, then theft by servant, and section 382 of IPC. So this will be the course of our discussion. Various aspects necessary to discuss while discussing only definition of theft. When we are observing definition of theft, at the same time we will discuss about section 405, misappropriation of property. Because sometimes some situations comes in the ambit of theft, and they seems to be comes in the ambit of misappropriation of property, but that is not. And hence to avoid such situations or such circumstances, it is necessary to go through both the definitions to understand what is the difference in between both these definitions. So also sometimes cheating, that is the definition of section 415 of Indian Penal Code. So first of all, we will go through understand section 378 of Indian Penal Code. That is the theft, definition of theft. Whoever intending to take dishonestly, opening line of this section, opening line of this definition, whoever intending to take dishonestly any movable property. So first of all, we will see what mean by whoever intending to take dishonestly any movable property. Three words are important so far as this line is concerned. Intending means intention, dishonestly, and then movable property. Section 24 of Indian Penal Code says about movable, says about dishonestly. In the course of my last speeches, we have gone through this definition, but as we are observing section 378 of IPC, it is necessary to go through once again this definition. Section 24, whoever does anything with the intention of causing wrongful gain to one person or wrongful loss to another person is said to do that thing dishonestly. Wrongful gain, wrongful loss. Section 23 is very much clear so far as wrongful gain and wrongful loss is concerned. But once again, section 24 says, whoever does anything with the intention of causing wrongful gain to one person. So the person, one person means the person who has committed this offense or who is acting dishonestly also. To whom the wrongful gain, he is also the person along with others. Whoever does anything with the intention of causing wrongful gain to one person and at the same time wrongful loss to another person is said to do that thing dishonestly. So when we are observing definition of dishonestly and wrongful gain, wrongful loss, these words are here. We know that by way of section 23 of Indian Penal Code, these two concepts are clearly mentioned what mean by wrongful gain and what mean by wrongful loss. So once again, section 23, wrongful gain is gain by unlawful means of property. Unlawful means of property. Gain by unlawful means of property, to which the person gaining is not legally entitled. Gaining is not legally entitled. Wrongful loss is the loss by unlawful means of property, to which the person losing it legally entitled. Losing it legally entitled. So far as section 378 is concerned, as we are observing theft, so wrongful loss to the victim, wrongful gain to the accused or the receiver. We will see stolen property. Then we will go through section 411, section 414 of Indian Penal Code to understand what meant by receiver of stolen property. So first we will go through stolen property. One by one we will go various provisions, because though I am discussing with you theft, I will discuss the definition in detail, but at the same time I will go through various provisions to understand what exactly mean by theft and what are the connections of this concept given in various statutes or various provisions. Wrongful gain is gain by unlawful means of property, to which the person gaining is not legally entitled. Wrongful loss is the loss by unlawful means of property, to which the person losing it legally entitled. The opening line of this section: whoever intending to take dishonestly, just we have observed dishonestly, wrongful gain, wrongful loss. Next word of the first line: any movable property. Any movable property. What mean by movable property? Definition of movable property is given by section 22 of Indian Penal Code. Movable property. The words movable property are intended to include. Now see, the construction, the design, the how the words are used in this section. Movable property having its own existence. Movable property, the words movable property are intended to include. So something is here and we want to include in it. The words movable property are intended to include corporal property of every description, except land and things attached to the earth, or permanently fastened to anything which is attached to the earth. Understand these last two concepts. Exception: except land or things attached to the earth, or permanently fastened to anything. Something is permanently fastened to the earth and this thing is attached to that permanently fastened thing, or permanently fastened to anything which is attached to the earth. This is the definition of movable property. Now the definition of movable property is given by section 22 of the Indian Penal Code. At the same time, definition of movable property is provided, is given by section 3, subsection 36 of the General Clauses Act. Movable property shall mean property of every description except immovable property. Except immovable property. As we are observing movable property, at the same time, you may go through section 102 of CRPC. So far as seizure of property is concerned by police, seizure of property concerned by police, as per section 102 of CRPC. Please read that section also when we are reading definitions of movable property. Section says, whoever intending to take dishonestly any movable property out of the possession of any person, out of the possession. Possession is one of the important word, is one of the important term of theft. Here in this definition, there is no word ownership, but possession having significance. Possession is the core of this definition. Out of the possession of the person, so person having possession, out of the possession of the person, without that person's consent, moves that property in order to such taking is said to commit theft. Once again, whoever intending to take dishonestly any movable property out of the possession of any person without that person's consent moves that property in order to such taking. Now understand. Please focus your mind on the word moves. It is not mentioned text possession. Please understand. It is not mentioned text possession or possession has taken. What is the expectation of this definition? Expectation of this definition, out of the possession of any person without that person's consent, moves that property in order to such taking, moves that property in order to such taking. If property is moved, is said to commit theft. It is my humble, I am very deliberate with this word, humble request to please understand this last line. We are dealing various cases. We are cases arising of the theft and its derivatives, along with section 411, section 414, sometimes different sections also. And what is the expectation of law so far as definition is concerned? This definition is here given by IPC. I am just reading this definition. Though I am reading this definition, I am focusing on the specific aspects, specific requirements, specific expectation of law. What the law expects by this definition? Out of possession of any person without that person's consent moves that property in order to such taking, if moving effect is there, is said to commit theft. He may take in possession or he may not. That is not material. Generally, we are thinking that the property is in possession of the person who has thefted. And unless and until his possession, there is no theft. No. It is not mentioned here like this. It is mentioned here, moves that property in order to such taking is said to commit theft. There are some explanations given below this section. First explanation. A thing, so long as it is attached to the earth, not being movable property. So this is also one of the definition. Though this is not the definition of movable property, but I want to say that this is also one of the definition itself given by the first explanation, opening word of this explanation. A thing, so long as it attached to the earth, not being movable property, is not the subject of theft, but it becomes capable of being the subject of theft. Please understand. it becomes capable of being the subject of theft as soon as, this word is very, very, very important, as soon as it is severed from the earth. Severance from the earth with dishonest intention of theft sufficient. Theft committed. Though the severed thing is in the possession of the accused or is not, that is not an issue so far as present definition is concerned. Hence, I am stressing this significant aspect because I feel that it is my duty that I am here. I have to discuss the requirements of this definition. First explanation: a thing so long as it attached to the earth, not being movable property, is not the subject of theft, but it becomes capable of being the subject of theft as soon as it is severed from the earth. Subject of theft as soon as it is severed. वेगळा केला, severed from the earth. Though dishonest intention is not mentioned in this explanation, but as this explanation is of the term theft, unless and until dishonest intention is there, there is no question of theft, and hence, though specifically dishonest intention words are not mentioned in this explanation, these words are here. Implied meaning of these words are here. The term is hidden in this first explanation. Second explanation: a moving effect by the same act which affects the severance may be a theft. Now, moving effect. First of all, severance. After severance, moving effect, and hence it is mentioned a moving effect by the same act. Same act means first explanation. A moving effect by the same act which affects the moving effect which affects the severance may be a theft. Third explanation: a person is said to cause a thing move. Now see, one by one. First explanation, second explanation, moving effect. Now third explanation, cause a thing to move. A person is said to cause a thing to move by removing an obstacle which prevented it from moving, or by separating it from any other thing, as well as by actually moving it. There are three parts. A person is said causing a thing move. When? Three parts. By removing an obstacle which prevented it from moving. By removing an obstacle which prevented the thing from moving. As soon as the obstacle is removed with dishonest intention, theft committed. Or second, by separating it from any other thing with dishonest intention, if that thing is separated from any other thing, theft committed. Third, as well as by actually moving it, as well as by actually moving the thing with dishonest intention. Dishonest intention is the significant aspect which is impliedly here in this explanation also. Fourth, a person who by means causes an animal to move. A person who by means. Now means are discussed in one of the illustration. We will go through the illustration. A person who by means causes an animal to move is said to move that animal without touching that animal, but by means. A person who by means causes an animal to move is said to move that animal and to move everything which in consequence of the motion so caused is moved by that animal. Please see what is mentioned here. A person who by any means, inducement. a person who by means causes an animal to move. The animal was still there, but the person by any means causes. He is the cause for the movement of the animal. Not only this, a person who by means causes an animal to move is said to move that animal, first part. Second, and to move everything which in consequence of the moving so caused. As soon as the animal moves, the thing also moves which are attached to the animal or which are with the animal. And to move everything which in consequence of the motion so caused is moved by that animal. Though this explanation is for animal, it is necessary to take into consideration for the vehicles also. For the vehicles also. Explanation 5. The consent mentioned in this definition may be expressed or implied, and may be given either by the person in possession or by any person having for that purpose authority, either expressed or implied. The consent is discussed in this last explanation. What mean by consent? Both types of consent, express and implied. By whom? Two persons or persons having two categories mentioned here. The consent mentioned in this definition may be expressed or implied and may be given either by the person in possession or by any person having for that purpose. That purpose means purpose of possession, by any person having for that purpose. So far as possession, express, handing over possession by express or by implied meaning. By any person having for that purpose authority, either express or implied. After the 5 significant explanations for this definition theft, it is necessary to observe that whether the theft is or the property, what mean by property, is mentioned anywhere. So now we will go through different aspects which are necessary to read to understand along with this definition of theft. First is Article 300 capital A of the Constitution of India. Article 300 capital A of the Constitution of India. Persons not to be deprived of property save by authority of law. No person shall be deprived of his property save by authority of law. And theft is nothing but a deprivation of property. Wrongful gain, wrongful loss we observed. So far as wrongful loss is concerned, wrongful loss is as good as deprivation of property. And person, if unnecessarily deprived, then the person who has committed theft, who has committed wrongful loss to the legal owner or the possessor shall be punished, and hence section 378 definition of theft and section 379 its consequence means punishment. Constitution of India Article 300 capital A says persons not to be deprived of property save by authority of law. No person shall be deprived of his property save by authority of law. And now one of the important definition of IPC, that is stolen property. This definition is given by section 410 of IPC. This definition covers various different aspects. Heading of this definition is stolen property. So what mean by stolen property? In which situation the property is called as stolen property? Property, the possession whereof has been transferred. Now please understand the word transferred. What is the, we know meaning of transferred. That is not an issue. But why word transferred is mentioned here? Why it is not mentioned other word than transfer? Why it is not mentioned other words similar to transfer? Why it is not mentioned word receive? Here in this definition, word use transfer. Property, the possession whereof has been transferred by theft or by extortion or by robbery, and property which has been criminally misappropriated or in respect of which criminal breach of trust has been committed. These are the offenses under which the property is called as stolen property. Only these offenses, not other offenses. But that also comes in the ambit of this chapter. Likewise, cheating. But it is not mentioned here. It is not mentioned in this definition. This definition is to the extent of theft, extortion, robbery, property which has been criminally misappropriated or in respect of which criminal breach of trust has been committed, is designated as stolen property. Please understand this definition, because this definition is very useful while dealing with this chapter. This chapter is surrounded with this definition, because this chapter is offenses against property. Offenses against property. Offenses against property, we are observing theft. Theft is one of the aspects of stolen property, and definition of stolen property is given by section 410 of IPC. Hence, please apply your full mind on each and every word of stolen, the definition of stolen property. What means by stolen property? I am reading it once again. Property, the possession whereof has been transferred by theft, by extortion, by robbery, and property which has been criminally misappropriated or in respect of which criminal breach of trust has been committed, is designated as stolen property. And now you have to think why the word transfer is mentioned here. Transfer. Possession obtained. It is not mentioned that possession is obtained. It is mentioned possession is transferred. Property, the possession whereof has been transferred by theft, by extortion, by robbery, and property which has been criminally misappropriated or in respect of which criminal breach of trust has been committed, is designated as stolen property. Whether the transfer has been made or the misappropriation of breach of trust has been committed within or without India, that is not an issue. Within India or without India. But if such property subsequently comes into the possession of the person legally authorized, legally entitled to the possession thereof, it then ceases to be stolen property. Last part of this definition. But if such property subsequently comes into the possession of a person legally entitled to the possession thereof, then it ceases to be stolen property. And for this issue, it is necessary to go through, not fully, but it is necessary to go through section 451 and section 457 of the Code of Criminal Procedure. I know that handing over property under these provisions are subject to indemnity bond. subject to indemnity bond. Some certain conditions are there. And as I raised the issue of section 451 as well as section 457 of CRPC, please go through the significant judgment of Honorable Supreme Court, Sundarbhai Desai versus State of Gujarat, AIR 2003, Supreme Court, page number 638. Sundarbhai Desai versus State of Gujarat. Significant judgment on this aspect. But if such property subsequently comes into the possession of a person legally entitled to the possession thereof, it is not mentioned legally entitled to the ownership thereof. It is mentioned legally entitled to the possession thereof. So far as ownership and possession, then we have to go through jurisprudence, ownership and possession. So please go through jurisprudence also to understand what mean by possession and ownership and what is the correlation in between possession and ownership. But if such property subsequently comes into the possession of a person legally entitled to the possession thereof, though I have mentioned two sections under CRPC, section 451 and section 457, it is also necessary to go through section 452 of CRPC, disposal of property at the time of judgment. So time of judgment 452. After submission of charge sheet, meanwhile, section 451. And prior to submit charge sheet, if the property is in the possession of investigating agency, then we know, because this subject is discussed by Mr. Ganesh Pawar as well as by myself also in the course of my speeches, the requirements of section 102 subsection 3 of the Code of Criminal Procedure. And if the property is under investigation, then in such situation, subject to the provisions of section 102 subsection 3 of CRPC, handing over the property on certain conditions, indemnity bond as per section 457 of CRPC. So please go through these three important sections so far as handing over property is concerned by the court or by the magistrates. But if such property subsequently comes into the possession of a person legally entitled to the possession thereof, it then ceases to be stolen property. Once again, we will go through this significant definition. Property, the possession whereof has been transferred by theft or by extortion or by robbery, and property which has been criminally misappropriated, in respect of which criminal breach of trust has been committed, is designated as stolen property, whether the transfer has been made or the misappropriation or breach of trust has been committed within or without India. But if such property subsequently comes into the possession of a person legally entitled the possession thereof, word used possession thereof, it then ceases to be stolen property. After this significant definition and after discussion on section 378 and its niceties, so also article 300 capital A of the Constitution of India, here in this section, in fact, it's a definition of theft. Honorable author has given various illustrations to understand the scope, the exact meaning of this definition, and it is necessary to go through all illustrations one by one to understand the scope. Hence, we will proceed to observe to see the illustrations. A to P illustrations are given here. Please understand why those illustrations are given by the author. What was the desire of the author? What was the intention of the author? And so to understand the intention, the desire, that you have to discuss this issue by different aspects, different ways, different angles. Illustration means angles. Illustration means the subjects. This may happen, and hence illustrations. Illustration A. It is my request to all the participants, please go through your books at the same time and understand each and every word and each and every situation mentioned in the illustration to understand the scope of section 378, that is theft. First illustration, that is small a. A cuts down a tree on Z's ground with the intention of dishonestly taking the tree out of Z's possession without Z's consent. I am reading it once again. A cuts down a tree on Z's ground. So the tree is with or at Z's ground. A cuts down a tree on Z's ground. Now intention of A, with the intention of dishonestly taking the tree out of Z's possession without Z's consent. Further sentence is very significant. Next sentence. Here, as soon as, please understand the word as soon as. Please understand the situation which is mentioned by the word as soon as. Here, as soon as A has severed the tree in order to such taking, has committed the theft. As soon as A severed the tree in order to such taking means taking dishonestly, he has committed theft. B illustration. A puts a bait for dog in his pocket and thus induces Z's dog to follow it. Here, if A's intention be dishonestly to take the dog out of Z's possession without Z's consent, A has committed theft. So, as soon as Z's dog has begun to follow A. I will come within 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Please give me 2 minutes. A puts a bait for dog in his pocket and thus induces Z's dog to follow it. Now, here in this inducement to the dog, and the dog knows that the bait is in the pocket of A. A puts a bait for dogs in his pocket and thus induces Z's dog to follow it. Here, if A's intention be dishonestly to take the dog out of Z's possession without Z's consent, A has committed theft. Now, please understand next sentence. As soon as Z's dog has begun to follow it. So this as soon as is very significant. What the definition expects. What is mentioned in the illustration. Why the author has mentioned very significant word as soon as. As soon as the dog, as soon as Z's dog has begun to follow, as soon as begun to follow, theft is committed. Fulfillment of the definition. the requirements of the definition is fulfilled as soon as. It is not necessary that actual possession. Not necessary. Illustration C. Next illustration. Now please see the nicety. It is necessary to go through all illustrations. Various significant aspects are discussed in those definitions. In these definitions. Yeah, sorry, in these illustrations. C illustration. A meets a bullock carrying a box of treasure. A bullock carrying a box of treasure. A meets, having company with the bullock. A meets bullock carrying a box of treasure. He drives the bullock in a certain direction. In please understand. He drives the bullock in a certain direction in order that he may dishonestly take the treasure. And now please apply your mind on the next sentence. As soon as the bullock begins to move, as soon as the bullock begins to move, A has committed theft of the treasure. Friends, this is the expectation of this definition. I am reading this illustration once again. A meets bullock carrying a box of treasure. He drives the bullock in a certain direction in order that he may dishonestly take the treasure. As soon as the bullock begins to move, he has committed theft of the treasure. The illustration. A being Z's servant. A being Z's servant and entrusted by Z with the care of Z's plate. Now here in this illustration, entrustment, which is one of the significant sentence so far as section 405 is concerned. Misappropriation is concerned. Entrustment of property. A being Z's servant and entrusted by Z. So A is Z's servant as well as he is entrusted by Z with the care of Z's plate. Understand the word care. Care. Entrustment of care of Z's plate. What A did, dishonestly runs away with the plate without Z's consent. A has committed theft. Now, though the word entrust is used here, by way of using word entrust, it seems that the situation may comes in the ambit of misappropriation as entrust word used here. Even though it's a theft. Why it is theft? A being Z's servant and entrusted by Z with the care of Z's plate, dishonestly runs away with the plate. Word dishonestly, intention dishonest. Dishonestly runs away with the plate without Z's consent. A has committed theft. Now I want to say that here in this illustration, there is no misappropriation of property. Here in this illustration, no misappropriation of property, but theft. Illustration E. Z going on a journey entrusts his plate to A keeper of a warehouse, till Z shall return. Till Z shall return. Once again, I am reading this. Z going on a journey entrusts his plate to A, the keeper of a warehouse, and the entrustment was till Z shall return from the journey. A carries the plate to a goldsmith and sells it. A, in whose possession the plate was handed over by Z. What he did, A carries the plate to a goldsmith and sells it. Here the plate was not in Z's possession. While selling the plate to the goldsmith, the that was possession of not of Z. Here the plate was not in Z's possession. It could not therefore be taken out of Z's possession, and A has not committed theft, though he may committed criminal breach of trust. And hence, earlier I have mentioned that while observing definition of theft, it is necessary to go through definition of criminal misappropriation and criminal breach of trust. These two definitions are necessary to be read along with definition of theft to understand different scopes, to understand different angles of offense. Which offense has exactly committed by the person, whether it is theft, whether it is misappropriation, or whether it is dishonest intention, criminal breach of trust. Sometimes slight difference, sometimes overlapping. So these three definitions are necessary to read at once. Please see this example once again. This is the good example for that purpose. Just I am discussing this issue with you. Z going on a journey and trust his plate to A, the keeper of a warehouse, till Z shall return. The sell it. The plate not in possession. It could not, therefore, be taken out of Z's possession, and A has not committed theft, though he may have committed criminal breach of trust. Next example, illustration. A finds a ring belonging to Z on a table in the house of which Z occupies. Now see, the house is occupied by Z. There is a table and there is a ring on the table. A finds a ring belonging to Z on a table in the house which Z occupies. Here the ring is in Z's possession. This line is very important. Here the ring is in Z's possession, and if A dishonestly removes it, A commits theft. So what I mean by possession is shown by this section. Not physical possession, not actual possession. Not the ring was not in a finger of Z. The ring was on the table at the house, possessed by A. Please see this situation. A finds a ring belonging to Z on a table in the house which Z occupies. Here the ring is in Z's possession, and if A dishonestly removes it, A commits theft. Next illustration, G. A finds a ring laying on the high road. A finds a ring laying on the high road, not in the possession of any person. Now see, different aspect, a different angle. A finds a ring laying on the high road, not in the possession of any person. A, by taking it, commits no theft, though he may commit criminal misappropriation of property. H illustration. Now please see the nicety of this illustration. A sees a ring belonging to Z laying on a table in Z's house. A sees a ring belonging to Z laying on the table in Z's house. Now, so far as A is concerned, not venturing to misappropriate the ring immediately for fear of search and detection. He saw, but not venturing. He feels that it's risky. Not venturing to misappropriate the ring immediately for fear of search and direction. Then what he did, he hides the ring in a place where it is highly improbable that it will ever be found by Z, with the intention, A's intention, with the intention of taking the ring from the hiding place and selling it when the loss is forgotten. Here A at the time of first moving the ring commits theft. Friends, please understand this line. When theft was committed, here means for this example, A at the time of first moving the ring commits theft. And word first word is very important. Here A at the time of first moving the ring commits theft. First moving means A hides the ring in a place where it is highly improbable that it will ever be found by Z, with the intention of taking the ring from the hiding place and selling it when the loss is forgotten. Here A at the time of first moving the ring commits theft. The theft was committed at that time itself. Next example, I. A delivers his watch to Z. Z is jeweler. The purpose of to be regulated. Once again, this line. A delivers his watch to Z, a jeweler, to be regulated. Z carries it to his shop. A not owing to the jeweler any debt for which the jeweler might have lawfully detained the watch as a security, enters the shop openly. A enters the shop openly, takes his watch by force out of Z's hand and carries it away. Here A, though he may have committed criminal trespass and assault, has not committed theft. Inasmuch as, why not theft? The answer is given here. Inasmuch as what he did was not done dishonestly. So this is the importance of term dishonestly. As much as what he did was not done dishonestly. He did criminal trespass and assault. Once again, I am reading this important illustration. A delivers his watch to Z, a jeweler, to be regulated. Z carries it to his shop. Now, please see the significance. A not owing to the jeweler any debt for A not owing. Understand? A not owing to the jeweler any debt for which the jeweler might lawfully detain the watch as security. This line is very important to understand this illustration. A not owing to the jeweler any debt for which the jeweler might lawfully, might lawfully detain the watch as security. A enters the shop openly, takes his watch by force out of Z's hand and carries it away. Here A, though he may have committed criminal trespass and assault, has not committed theft. And why not committed theft? The answer is given by the author here. As much as what he did was not done dishonestly. So while dealing these cases and dealing the investigation and dealing the prosecution, we all have to see the illustrations, the niceties, that whether the case comes in the ambit of theft or not, whether it is criminal misappropriation, whether it is trespass, whether it is assault, various aspects are here. That's why I'm giving specific stress on each and every word of the illustration, because I feel that I and we must know the definition as it is, which is mentioned in the book. Next illustration, J. If A owes. Now, if means this J illustration having connection with illustration I. J illustration having connection with I, because opening word if. Though J is there, though I illustration is there, now different angle, different aspect, separate aspect. If A owes money to Z, means having obligation to pay or repay. If A having obligation to pay or repay the money to Z, if A owes money to Z for repairing the watch. The watch was repaired by Z and A owes money to Z for such repairing. If A owes money to Z for repairing the watch and if Z retained the watch lawfully, now see, first example, returning is simpliciter. Now, so far as this example, J retains the watch lawfully as a security for the debt, and A takes the watch out of Z's possession with the intention of depriving Z of the property as a security for the debt. He commits theft. He commits theft. Why? The answer is given here. Inasmuch as he takes it dishonestly, and hence it is a theft. Now, please carefully go through illustration I and illustration J. It is my request to all the participants. Now, K. K is one of the aspect of I illustration. I, K, I, J, now K. Because K starts with again. Again, if A having pawned his watch to Z. To pawn means leave an object as security for money lent. Leave an object as security for money lent. Money obtained and object is delivered. Again, if A having pawned his watch to Z takes it out of Z's possession without Z's consent, not having paid what he borrowed on the watch. Not having paid he borrowed on the watch. If it is so, he commits theft. Though the watch is of his own property, very significant aspect discussed here. Though the watch is of his own property, inasmuch as he takes it dishonestly, theft of self-property. Theft of self-property is discussed here. He commits theft, though the watch owned by him. Next illustration. A takes an article belonging to Z out of Z's possession without Z's consent. Now see the type of this example situation. A takes an article belonging to Z out of Z's possession without Z's consent with the intention of keeping it until he obtains money from Z as a reward for its restoration. Once again, I am reading it. Please understand the situation. A takes an article belonging to Z out of Z's possession without Z's consent. For what purpose? With the intention of keeping he obtained from Z for its restoration. But prior to that, he takes possession without Z's consent. Here, A takes dishonestly. A has therefore committed theft. Next illustration. A being on friendly terms with goes into Z's library in absence and takes away a book without Z's consent. Now see the next line. For the purpose merely of reading it and with the intent of returning it. Here, it is probable that A may have conceived that he had Z's implied consent to use Z's book. If this was A's impression, this line is very significant. If this was A's impression, he has not committed. This is a good defense. And that's why I'm discussing these illustrations. If this was A's impression, A has not committed theft. Next illustration. N. A asks charity from Z's wife. She gives A money, food, and clothes, which A knows to belong to Z, her husband. Z is the husband, and his wife has given these articles to A as charity. A asks charity from Z's wife. He gives A money, food, which A knows to belongs to Z, her husband. Here it is probable that A may conceive that this line is important. A may conceive that Z's wife is authorized to give away. Z's wife is, A may conceive that Z's wife is authorized. This word is important. Is authorized to give away alms. If this was A's impression, A has not committed theft. Next example, which is different to the situation mentioned in example N. Now, who is A? A is the paramour of Z's wife. Now, see the relation in between A and Z's wife. A is the paramour of Z's wife. She gives a valuable property which A knows to belongs to her husband Z, and to be such property as she has no authority from Z to give. This word is very important. This line is important. And to be such property, he knows it, A knows it, and to be such property as she has no authority. So far as first example is concerned, authority. So far as second, no authority from Z give. If A takes the property dishonestly, this is one of the significant conditions to attract this illustration. Though the property handed over by Z's wife to A, though having such relations in between A and Z's wife, but last line is very significant. So far as A is concerned, if A takes the property dishonestly, then only he commits theft. And the last illustration. A in good faith, believing property belonging to Z to be A's own property. Now see the situation. A in good faith. So whenever good faith, we know that section 52 of IPC. A in good faith, believing property belonging to Z to be A's own property. The property, in fact, belonging to Z, but he, in good faith, believed that the property is of him. A, in good faith, believing property belonging to Z to be A's own property. Now, what he did, takes that property out of B's possession, not out of Z's possession, out of B's. Once again, I am reading this. A in good faith, believing property belonging to Z to be A's own property, takes that property out of possession, out of B's possession. Here, as A does not take dishonestly, he does not commit theft. So friends, through the definition in detail, we discussed the significant words mentioned in this definition. So also we have gone through 5 explanations. Then Article 300, capital A of the Constitution of India, as well as Section 410, that is stolen property mentioned in Indian Penal Code. So also we have gone through A to P illustrations to understand what is the exact meaning of theft. And once again, I want to focus you the word as as soon as it I feel that it is necessary to discuss meaning of, which is very important. I feel that it is very important. Definition says whoever takes dishonestly any movable property out of the possession of any person without that person. Last line. Most property in order to such taking as soon as moving effect starts, he said to commit theft. So please go through, please go through the word moving effect as soon as, which are very, very, very important to understand this definition. After this definition given under section 378, punishment is provided by section 379. We know it well. Whoever commits theft shall be punished with imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 3 years or with fine. Now, what mean by theft in dwelling house? Now, see the heading of section 380. It is mentioned theft in dwelling house, comma, etc. So, it is necessary to see what mean by dwelling house. What is the exact meaning of dwelling house expected to section 380 of IPC? Whoever commits theft in any building, tent, or vessel, which building, tent, or vessel is used as a human dwelling or used for the custody of property shall be punished with imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 7 years and shall also be liable to fine. Apart from this sentence, what is the core of this section? What is the expectation of this section? Which situations are comes in the ambit of this section? Opening line, whoever commits theft. So first of all, the definition of theft just I discussed with you. Whoever commits theft in any building, in any tent, in any vessel, which building, tent, or vessel is used as a human dwelling, first part, second part, or used for the custody of property. Questions were asked to me by some person that whether temple comes in the ambit of dwelling house, because theft of ornament of the idols which are in the temple. There are various aspects, different aspects also. So first of all, necessary to go through the definition itself. I am reading it once again. Whoever commits theft in any building, tent, or vessel, which building, tent, or vessel, now please see, is used as a human dwelling. First of all, is used as a human dwelling. Second aspect, used for the custody of property. Used for the custody of property, having wide area to understand the situation. whenever any building is used for the custody of property, human dwelling as well as custody of property, only for human dwelling, only for custody of property, or at the same time human dwelling also and custody of property also, all these situations are comes in the ambit of the definition of section 380 of Indian Penal Code. Custody of property. Then section 381, theft by clerk or servant of property in possession of master. At the same time, I will focus on section 408 of Indian Penal Code. Now see the difference. As per section 381 of IPC, theft by clerk or servant of property in possession of master, heading. Section 408 heading, criminal breach of trust by clerk or servant. So whenever cases like this arising out of involvement of clerk or servant, so first of all, necessary to see that whether the situation comes in the ambit of definition of theft or the definition of criminal breach of trust. As I discussed earlier, it is necessary to go through definition of criminal breach of trust also. So now we are discussing this definition, criminal breach of trust. Section 405 of Indian Penal Code. Whoever being in any manner entrusted with property. This line is very important. Entrustment. Who being in any manner entrusted with property. Second aspect. Or with any dominion over property. What he did, dishonestly misappropriates or converts of his own use that property, or dishonestly uses or disposes of that property in violation of any direction of law, prescribing the mode in which such trust is to be discharged, or of any legal contract, express or implied, which he has made touching the discharge of such trust, or willfully suffers any other person so to do, commits criminal breach of trust. There are two explanations of this definition. So when we will go through this definition, that time I will once again express this definition, explain this definition as well as these two illustrations. Right now we are at section 381 of IPC, and it is necessary to correlate section 381 of IPC with section 408 of IPC, because section 408 of IPC says about criminal breach of trust by public servant, and so far as section 381 of IPC, theft by clerk or servant of property in possession of master. So what this section says, whoever being a clerk or servant or being employed in the capacity of a clerk or servant. Now see the area for discussion, the scope for discussion. Whoever being a clerk or servant or being employed in the capacity of a clerk or servant commits theft in respect of any property in the possession of his master or employer. The property is not entrusted with this person, clerk or servant. Understand? So far as section 381 is concerned, the property is still, is either in the possession of, commits theft in respect of any property in the possession of his master or employer, shall be punished with imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 7 years and shall also be liable to fine. What is the core of this section? Whoever being a clerk or being employed in the capacity of a clerk or servant. So it is necessary to prove whenever such type of cases, and if the situation comes in the ambit of second aspect, it is necessary to prove. In fact, in such cases, it is necessary for the investigating agency to bring on record that the person is either clerk or servant or is being employed in the capacity as a clerk or servant, and then only prosecution will prove the capacity of the accused. Either he is clerk or servant or he is being employed in the capacity of a clerk or servant. And then the question of theft, then the question of possession of his master of the property which is stolen. Commits theft in respect of any property in the possession of his master or employer. So this is the requirement of this section, and for that purpose prosecution or the investigating agency first of all, and the prosecuting agency or the person who is conducting the prosecution, or by in any private case also. Apart from that, it is necessary to prove that the accused is the clerk or servant or being employed in the capacity of a clerk or servant of the master or employer. Two types of capacity, either master or employer. The master shall have to prove that he is the master, the employer shall have to prove that he is the employer, the master shall have to prove that he is the clerk, the employer shall have to prove that he is the clerk, the master shall have to prove that he is the servant, the employer shall have to prove that he is the servant. This relation shall have to be established, and the requirements of theft, and then only fulfillment of requirements of or expectations of this section. Section 382. Theft after preparation made of causing death, hurt or restraint in order to committing the theft. Aggravated form. Theft after preparation made for causing death, hurt or restraint in order to committing the theft. Basic line is in order to. Please understand. Whenever this word is used, please go through this word calm and quietly, nicely. In order to. Theft after preparation made for causing death. This is preparation. Huh? Preparation made for causing death or causing hurt or causing restraint. For what purpose? In order to committing the theft. It is mentioned in this section, whoever commits theft. But for that purpose of theft, having made preparation for causing death. So he is prepared with causing death, prepared with causing hurt, prepared with restraint or fear of death or hurt or of restraint to any person. At the same time, both situations are required. I am reading it once again. Whoever commits theft, having made preparation for causing theft, for causing death or hurt or restraint or fear to death or of hurt or of restraint to any person in order to the committing of such theft. Activities of accused are important so far as attraction of this section. I am reading it once again. Whoever commits theft, having made preparation for causing death or hurt or of restraint or fear of death or of hurt or of restraint to any person in order to the committing of such theft or in order to the effecting of his escape after the committing of such theft. Two situations. In order to committing the theft or in effecting of his escape after the committing of such theft or in order to the retaining of property taken by such theft shall be punished with rigorous imprisonment for a term which may extend to 10 years and shall also be liable to fine. So, section 378, 379, then section 382, necessary to read with section 408 of IPC to understand section 408, 405, and then section 482. Next section is extortion. We will see it tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Yes. Shall I end the meeting?
Yes, it's fine.